So we had a pretty rough day today. Um, Rough in the sense I'm down $200, but besides that, a really, really good day. So we're not focusing on money, even though I am on an evaluation. We're not focusing on money. We're focusing on what we did right, and almost everything we did was right, besides where I placed my stop loss, which I'll get into. I literally got stopped out by like 2 ticks. But so coming into market open, I identified pre-market accumulated price range here. And on top of that, we were within a 4-hour fair value gap right here. So my overall bias was bearish because overnight we did not run through this fair value gap. If we did, I'd look to target these highs, but we did not do that. And so I was very bearish going into the day. Next, we had let's drop to the 15-minute. So market opens right here, and immediately we sweep pre-market sell buy side liquidity right here, this line with these money symbols, pre-market buy side liquidity. So liquidity had been swept. On top of that, we tapped this 15-minute fair value gap. So I had a lot of bias towards that this was clear manipulation. And so I was ready to see price go take out sell side liquidity, which it did so very heavily. So drop to the 5-minute. Now on the 5-minute, since we had swept liquidity and tapped this 15-minute fair value gap, and we were within this higher time frame fair value gap on this yellow line, this was a 1 hour, I believe, everything was pointing bearish. And so I waited for an inverse fair value gap and a break of structure. Let's drop to the 15-minute again. So we had a 15-minute inverse fair value gap right here. And this is where I went wrong. So we had this inverse fair value gap, but I should have been paying more attention to the 1-minute fair value gap, because as soon as we inversed this and we broke structure, market structure shift here, once we closed below this previous swing low right here where I'm circling, we closed below it here. And so all I needed now was a retrace into the fair value gap, and that's exactly what we got. We got a 5-minute retrace. And so that's exactly where I entered. I entered right there. And as you can see, let's drop to 1 minute now. I put my stop right above the candle that caused this fair value gap. Right below the candle of the inverse fair value gap. And as you can see, I barely got stopped out before price just dumping in our favor. So what does this tell me? This tells me my daily bias was great, like phenomenal. I saw a lot of other people end up taking this trade later in the day. The entry model was great as well, but this is where I needed to fix up my decision. We actually put in a SMT right here at this high. NQ took this high and then ES didn't, so that was even further confirmation. I just failed to recognize that. So we put an SMT there. And then this is where I should have entered, at this 1-minute inverse fair value gap right here. Reverse that, trade up into it. That would have been the perfect trade down. So I entered too early. I entered off the 5-minute retrace into the 5-minute, but I should have waited for 1-minute confirmation as well. So all I did wrong was misinterpret when to enter. I entered a little bit early without a 1-minute confirmation, which would have bared us this SMT and little inverse fair value gap here. So yeah, and so if I would have done that, my stops would have been above this high, and above these highs, and they would have never got reached, but they were right here. So overall, very good day. although I lost $200, I was correct. So I lost $200 on the evaluation, but I was correct, and that is a smaller loss than yesterday. So that's all that matters. And my take profit was at the equal lows down below, and those got hit. So I'm not upset at all. Kind of sucks to go backward a little bit when you know you're right, like I was correct. I had talked about this the entire market open. But yeah, at the end of the day, I'm learning, and this is very important for things like this to happen, to become a better trader. So on the trading view over here, this is what I had marked out the night before. 2 different outcomes I'd want to see for going long and going short. And if we were to have gone long overnight, I would have wanted this 4-hour fair value gap to get ran through, tap into a smaller time frame PD array or imbalance, whatever, and go higher, target these highs. And to go short, I wanted to see us either catch the move from here to there, which we did. Our move was here. Our move was right there. And then look where it ended up going, exactly where I had predicted. But tomorrow I could see us continuing what I had predicted, and then we could look for an entry within a smaller time frame fair value gap, such as the one right here, if that makes sense. Because price is completely fractal, we're looking for higher time frame direction, higher time frame draws, and then we're within those fractals, we're dropping down into the 5-minute to look for our entries within there. So our entry would be into some sort of PD array in here, and then we would target sell side liquidity, all these equal lows resting below. So yeah, tomorrow I still have a bearish bias. If we stay below this, I'd want us to come rebalance the range, tap into this now 1 hour fair value gap here, tap that, and then look how perfectly that overlaps with where I had predicted, because then we'd have a smaller time frame fair value gap or what have you down below. So that would be a great bias going into the day tomorrow, but we'll see what we get when we get there. Yeah, so not upset at all. It's a great learning day. Hopefully tomorrow's good as well.